Yes, we are. On this Lent season 2025, it's me here on this channel 88.9 FM and finding out how my Lent journey, helping myself to become better and become more closer to my leader, my creator, my Lord Jesus Christ. We were referring or reflecting on different things during this Lent Fridays, and today is first Friday of April, and then we have a very special dedication to Sacred Heart of Jesus and Sacred the Mother Mary's Immaculate Heart, and at the same time we will reflect on ways of the cross because it's Lent season. We know that during this Lent season we identified different figures from the way of the cross, and today I am picking up another figure that you may identify as a key role taker in this execution of Lord Jesus Christ. And it's exciting to share with you all this particular figure. Always, if you do different plays of this way of the cross, different people will pick up different roles, right? Becoming Jesus, becoming Mother Mary, Saint Veronica, and women of Jerusalem, Simon of Cyrene, and then soldiers. Then this particular person will come up as well because this will be one of the initial stations that we use to reflect. And today, when schools are finishing today for holiday time, and my son, one of my twins, were enacting this particular figure in their way of the cross at their school, and I was telling, today I'm going to talk about that that figure, and then what is the real reflection on that figure, especially thinking about what will happen if that particular type of actions or decision making time comes into your life, and then what do you do? Yes, I think you already know, or you must be imagining or thinking who will be this figure, right? So this figure is none other than that king figure, the worldly king figure during Way of the Cross, yeah, the Pontius Pilate. Yes, we know that the station starting with the decision to crucify Lord Jesus Christ. And we know that story starting from Caiaphas. And then he's telling that it's good to, uh, bring one person to die for the whole nation. And he was prophesying that Jesus Christ will be taken into the crucifix during that conversation. And it happened. This Caiaphas was having this conversation when they heard about the resurrection of Lazarus after 4 days of his death. So they were planning to kill Jesus for a long time and then trying to figure out how we can blame or accuse this particular person. And then to get a death penalty, they need to find out all different major reasoning behind this accusation. And blasphemies is always a good one for them during that time, especially for Sanhedrin. And Caiaphas gave this idea that kill him and then the world will be saved, or the community will be saved. But again, during that time of having all these political issues in that present time where Jesus was living, Pontius Pilate was there or appointed as the person who decide whether he needs to be scourged or crucified. And then we know the story that Pontius Pilate was warned by his wife because his wife was having a dream, and then she mentioned that this person is a holy man, do not do anything against him. And then he was in front of that whole people along with Jesus Christ. And then they were having different conversations. Like Pontius Pilate was asking, are you the king? Then we know what Jesus mentioned, right? Yeah, my kingdom is not here. If it was here, there will be millions of, angels will be doing all those rescue things and all. And then we know that Lord Jesus was talking about his heavenly kingdom, and then he was not ready to do or show his power during this time because he knows that this needs to be done. And then what happened? So Pontius Pilate was almost sure that Jesus is a good person. There is no accusations. All the accusations that the people had is not right. But he was more connected to his worldly power, and then he wants to keep his power, and then he wants to, yes, make the people happy. And then what happened? Yes, he, yes, agreed and decided to kill Jesus, and then ordered that big, yes, the big ruling of that conversation. And then we can see that we are always reading in all this passion of Christ week, that he washed off and then telling that I'm not, responsible for anything happen. But we know that his decision making was really the real reason for this crucifixion. So I want you to reflect on two different ways. And we know that kingship or leadership in this current secular world is really important. And then we know that if we go back to Old Testament, where there was no kings, there were only prophets, and then they were crying and calling for kings because they were telling that it was better to have a king rather than having judges and all. And then we can read in the Old Testament that they started to have kings. And what happened to the Old Testament? And again, when we can see Jesus in front of a worldly king, where he proclaiming that I am the King of Kings, I am the heavenly king, nobody was there ready to accept that truth. But again, even though Pontius Pilate was sure and know that he is a holy man, with even he had his political power, he was not ready to be truthful to himself. He was motivated with that worldly power and the gain that he will get through that kingship. And he was not sincere according to his conscience, and then he was doing things just for the benefit of that kingship. So the mindset on our side during this Lent season should go through this type of thought process. You can see different leadership and kingship during this secular world and see many different things are not happening according to the right way, or not giving the values to practical model, or I would say not giving priority to the right values. That is a big area where if you are a leader, or if you are a political leader of the country, or a leader of an organization, or a leader of a community, you need to think when you take a decision, are you intentionally accusing other people, or are you doing something against your conscience? And then what can be the outcome for that? So at the same time, even if you are a single, like a human that always have a free will and always making decision on your own life, you are the leader of your life. You are the king of your life. And then when you take a decision that is against your conscience, you are crucifying the Lord, the King, the Creator. And at the same time, you are crucifying the true values of your life. So that's what I reflect on this particular station when Pontius Pilate is actually commanded for this big crucifixion to happen, or the worst one in their history, but the great saving power of Jesus Christ. So if you look at the other side, there is a reason why this king is doing this, because the prophecies need to be completed. And we will have conversation if Pontius Pilate didn't do this, how Jesus will go to the crucifixion and how we will have the resurrection and all other. That's a total different conversation. But as an individual, when we reflect on this special station, or thinking about this particular person in the way of the cross, I encourage you to think about you as a king of your life, as a leader of your own life in this world, the decision maker of your own will. When you take the decisions, you need to think the decision is killing a value that you really care for, or if that decision is accusing another person who is innocent or who is worthy, or if that decision is not giving good thing to the human being or to your life and to the life that you surrounded by. So if you are taking this type of conscience conversation within yourself before making a decision, that will help you to identify whether you are taking a right or a wrong decision. So let us contemplate on your own conscience during this time, and then think about Pontius Pilate, the king who decided or who saved Barabbas and then forced Jesus to the cross. So if you are the decision maker of your own life, think about it. Are you a good king and deciding according to the right value? This is Bismi Palati on 88.9 Win FM, the sound of West, on the very special show called Dominus Nisi.